Well, you may be one of the thousands of parents at home with kids today as some elementary teachers in Ontario take to the picket line. This one-day strike is the first of what could be more unless their union, the Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario, and the provincial government are able to reach an agreement. Joining me now is Joy Lachica. She is the executive of the union and president of the Elementary Teachers of Toronto. Good to have you here with us today.
Thanks, Anne-Marie.
Your union has been on work to rule since December. Has any progress been made in striking a deal with the government?
Well, unfortunately, there has been zero progress made. We've been waiting for the last 30 days for the government to meet us at the negotiation table, and there's been no movement so far. So unfortunately, we find ourselves in this position today where we have to take a stand for our students in Toronto, the children across Ontario, for the future of public education.
No talk with the two of you together at the table, but we have been hearing bits and pieces of this story through the media. The government saying, of course, they have agreed to pay up to $60 per day per child to parents who will be affected by these strikes. In a statement, Education Minister Stephen Lecce said it is unacceptable that the ETFO would ramp up strike action and make families across the province scramble for childcare. That's his quote. And I will continue to focus on reaching voluntary agreements with the teachers' union so Ontario students can stay in class where they belong. That's from the Education Minister. What will it take from the government to end strike action?
Well, Anne-Marie, over the last year and a half since the government's been in power, we've seen education pummeled. We've already seen drastic cuts to programming, to resources, to staffing. In Toronto alone, we've seen $68 million cut from programming, and we can't foresee that $150 million more, which the government is proposing, is sustainable. So education's being decimated, and it's unfortunate that the Conservative government is spinning a narrative that doesn't match what we're experiencing on the ground. Our schools need social workers, they need psychologists, they need paraprofessionals. We have students with special needs that require the supports, the staffing and resources that have had to be cut because of the budget from 2018-19. So this has been a cumulative pummeling, and we cannot see education be further decimated. Quality public education has been a cornerstone in Ontario, and all four affiliates are sharing the same message right now. It cannot be sustained. We care about our own children, and we care about the future of public education.
The government, as you know, is saying that this is about compensation. Teachers wanting more. What's your response to that?
Well, Ontario families are not fooled. Parents are not fooled, and this has been misrepresented. This is not the true narrative. This is about critical cuts to programs and staffing, and the government's choosing to spin the narrative to be about compensation. That is not indeed what our primary concern is.
If those supports are put in place, not only maintained but maybe improved upon, we're talking about needs for special needs students, the things that you were just mentioning, but the compensation isn't met, will that be a good enough deal?
Well, you know, negotiations and collective agreements are drawn by good faith bargaining, where parties come to the table, where proposals are presented. We have not yet seen the government address our proposals seriously. When we can have those conversations, we'll talk about each of the things that are part of what a collective agreement should involve. We are asking for this government to meet us at the table. We've been ready and we've been waiting.
If that does not happen, how much longer do you foresee these strikes happening?
Well, we take one day at a time. The clock's been ticking. We have arrived at today where we've had to do a full withdrawal of services in Toronto, in Ottawa and York Region. We'll see what happens, and hopefully the government will listen today, not only to educators, but to parents and communities that are coming out in mass to raise their voices together in solidarity. Parents aren't fooled, families aren't fooled. This government needs to pay attention.
Joy Lachica, thanks for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
Up next on